Good day, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OffGridEnclave. As you can see, the winter has come around and brought plenty of snow and frost. While the dogs do love it and the solar is quite happy as the air is finally clear of all the moisture, unlike in autumn. However, this sort of temperatures brings a lot of problems for the construction site, especially when you're working with concrete. So for this video, I will be showing you guys how I work my concrete in winter. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Please excuse the mess. As it is winter, I had to place a lot of the construction site materials on the inside. The pillar that you see in the middle that is made out of stacked up hollow concrete stones is the project we will be concreting today. As the pillar will be having load-bearing functions for the steel beam above it, we chose hollow concrete stones in the size of 20 on 50 centimeters. To connect the pillar properly with the ground floor, pieces of rebar have been concreted into the floor and connected properly with the first segment of the pillar. Furthermore, a proper amount of steel rebar has been inserted into the hollow concrete frame. As far as the materials go, we start with the pretty basics of concreting. We have 3 parts of sand, 1 part of cement, and about half a part of stones. However, as we have outside temperatures around the frost level and about -5 degrees Celsius at night currently, we need to do some further preparations with the materials. To get the sand on reasonable temperature, I boil some water and drop about 4 to 5 liters of boiling water in each of the buckets. Let that sit for about 5 minutes and the sand in the bucket has reasonable temperature. We do the same with the water that we use for mixing the concrete. We boil the water and use it at about 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. There is chemical additives for concreting in temperatures down to -10 degrees Celsius. I will be showing 2 of the products that I'm using. I'm in no way connected to these. This is just the stuff they have in the local store. To make sure they work accordingly, always mix them like in the manufacturer's description. After we're done pouring the concrete, there will be a need of further frost protection, but more on that later. In the next step, we start with mixing the dry materials first, then we add the water and we mix it so the concrete has a good viscosity. After we are done mixing the concrete, the next step is also quite straightforward. After making sure that the steel rebar is properly placed, we pour the concrete into the hollow concrete stones. I will see to speed that up for you guys.
A few moments later.
After using a vibration sonde or a stick to compress the concrete and make sure there's no air bubbles inside, we are finished pouring the concrete. As the concrete that we poured was quite warm, the hollow concrete stones that work as a frame also heat up considerably. One can see the temperature differences quite nicely in the pictures of the thermal camera. Once the concrete is settled and starts to carbonate, it will produce a certain amount of heat by itself. However, to retain the heat inside the block, we need to add a certain amount of insulation to make sure that the frost does not get inside. For this purpose, I used 5 to 10 centimeter thick polystyrene plates. For the top part of the pillars where the connection to the steel beam will happen, I reinforced the polystyrene plates with wooden boards so they can double down as frame for pouring the top layer of the concrete. I will see to get the camera up there and get some close-up shots so you guys can also see the rebar reinforcements. After we are done with filling the top connection part with concrete, we cover the whole pillar in polystyrene plates, put a plate on top and call it a day. Depending on your outside temperatures, you should leave the isolation on the concrete for about 2 to 3 weeks at least. In an optimal scenario, of course, one should not be concreting at ambient temperatures under 10 degrees Celsius. However, if it needs to be done, there is ways to make it work until like minus 10 degrees Celsius. With that, we shall wrap things up. Thank you all for watching and have a great day. If you enjoyed this content, consider leaving a like or subscribe for further updates.